So as you saw in my last video, I started shooting USPSA, and because I'm a beginner and because it's going to be a while before I'm good enough to really warrant any decent equipment, like I say, I do have plans for a new gun, and when I get that new gun, I will get a better holster. But I do have a Smith & Wesson M&P, which is a fine gun to shoot USPSA with in production class, which is what I'm shooting. But because I didn't really want to spend a whole lot of money on holsters and everything, I got this. This is an Uncle Mike's Reflex holster. And it's really odd. It's got this, I don't know if you can see down in there, it's got this locking mechanism that's it's sort of a twist lock. You have to twist the grip of the gun in toward your body before you can remove it from the holster. And if you watched my last video, you will have seen a couple of times where I had a little bit of trouble getting it out. It didn't come out on the first pull. So I'm going to take this guy apart and see if I can modify that retention system to allow me to just do a straight pull. I don't really need retention on this holster. I'm not using it for carry, so I don't really need retention here. All I need is basically just a pouch for the gun to sit while I'm shooting USPSA. So, you know, retention is not really that important here. Being able to pull the gun out and draw is. So we're going to take this baby apart and see if we can figure out how to modify it. Okay, so the holster actually comes apart pretty easily. There's this one screw right here. Take that screw out and this holster body slides down and off from the backing. And it's not this part. This is just a little spring that holds the gun up against this part, which is the part that locks on the inside of the trigger guard and keeps it from coming out without it being twisted away. So this is the part I'm going to have to modify. So I'm going to have to get my Dremel out, I think, and I think what I'm going to do is just give myself a really good, see this ramp area allows the trigger guard to slide up and over this hump here when you holster the gun, but there's no ramp on the other side to allow it to slide up and over when you unholster. So I think I'm going to get my Dremel and I'm just going to match this ramp on this side of that little hump right there. So it turns out I didn't even need my Dremel. I was able to just take my Exacto knife and trim this edge down and make a nice bevel there. So now instead of having that locking area there, it's just a hump that the gun has to ride over to come out. So I'm going to put this guy back together and we'll see how this works. Alright, so here's the gun in the holster, and prior to the modification, to get the gun out you had to twist the handle, you know, that way in toward the body. This is kind of tough to do one-handed, but I got to hold the camera, so. But now it just comes out on a straight out pull. No twisting necessary. And the gun still stays in the holster. It rattles around a little bit. It's always rattled around in that holster. But like I say, I do not ever intend to use this for out and about carry. This is not my carry gun. This is purely for USPSA competition. And if you saw my first USPSA match video, my previous video, you'll see that on several of the stages I did have trouble with the draw. And it was because of that twisting motion that you have to do to unlock it from the holster. It was not a natural motion for me. So I think this will at least help on my draw times, and you know, maybe it'll help with, you know, the follow-up from the draw, the first shots, because I had to be thinking in the back of my mind not about the first shot, but about twist that handle, twist the grip, you know, to get it out of the holster. So yeah, there's a modification to the Uncle Mike's Reflex holster. Holster was cheap, you know, it was 25 or 30 bucks on Amazon. You know, like I say, I didn't want to spend a lot of money to start shooting USPSA because I'm brand new. There's no point in me, you know, buying a $1,200 Tanfoglio or, you know, a $90 Boss, you know, drop holster with a, you know, with a really nice holster for this gun. This is not the gun I'm going to be shooting in 6 months. This is just the gun I'm using to get my feet wet and to kind of get into the sport and understand how the matches run and kind of get a handle on my abilities. So I didn't want to spend a lot of money. And this is what I want. You know, I already had this gun here, so, you know, it was a fine gun to get started with. So, you know, I had to buy 2 extra magazines for it. I bought a couple of Pro Mags from Midway, USA. They were like 17 bucks a piece, you know, and between the holster and 2 Uncle Mike's dual mag pouches, I think I spent about maybe 110 bucks total to get ready for shooting USPSA, not including, you know, ammunition. But I'll be shooting this until I get something a little bit better. And I kind of thought that I was going to be shooting production, but after shooting the match on Saturday, I think I'm going to lean more towards shooting in limited, mainly just because of the no 10-round limit in limited. But that's how I modified my Uncle Mike's holster. I've got my next match that I know I'm going to be attending will be in 2 weeks, first weekend of August, and I will let you know how that goes. If you like my videos, click the thumbs up button, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time.